Hi there, I hope you're doing great. It's a wonderful morning here in Accra in some parts of the country. Hope you're safe wherever you are. If it's raining, please do well to be sure of what the weather says so that you're safe. We need you alive. Thank you for staying on the AM show. I'm Bernice Abubedu-Lansa, and this morning the Ghana Statistical Service and Statistics Denmark presents the 2023 Hackathon. It's a competition between 5 tertiary institutions, and this morning I've been joined by Dr. Faustina Frimpong Engwa. She's the Deputy Government Statistician in charge of social and population statistics. Good morning to you, Doc. It's a pleasure to have you.
Good morning, Ben.
And let me just use this opportunity to confess that I used to be scared of statistics, but when I went to university, Madame Scholastica, and wherever you are, if you're watching, thank you so much. You just changed my mindset about statistics because it got interesting by the day. So thank you for, women like yourself who are in the field and showing us the way in terms of the importance of statistics. Now let's talk about the hackathon, right? Tell us more about it.
Thank you, and good morning to your cherished listeners, and thank you for having us on your show. And so for the hackathon, it's just a competition among university students. The idea is, by our mandate, we are supposed to provide quality, timely data for policy direction.
Right.
And we do provide that information, but in time past, this information we have provided has been like producer-centered, and so it's in formats that are not being useful to other people. And again, to be able to overcome the fears of others in terms of statistics, we try to make it user-friendly.
Right.
And so one of the procedures in which we did that was through the Statsbank, which is an online repository of the data. Here with the hackathon, we are asking university students, go to this platform and see what you can churn out of it. And so the hackathon is just a nice way of seeing how students can also use this data for decision making.
So there is a correlation between hackathon and data availability, right?
Yep.
Tell us more about it.
And so with the hackathon, so the whole idea of the hackathon is we allowing these students to explore the data that we have. And so some people, just as you did mention, some people are data phobia kind of thing. And so if you just provide the figures in that numbers form alone for them, people are not really willing to use them. And so we have different products. And so we have the 10% of the microdata with the metadata, where analysts, those who have the flair for numbers, can go and they analyze themselves. The Statsbank is where for people who are kind of in between. And so we have generated this data repository. But you go in there and you can have it in a disaggregated form for useful for your own needs. And so the data availability is that the same census data or the data that we are providing, now you can find it's the microdata form that people can use. You can find it as the repository we are talking about. And also we even have it even in census digitized atlas, where we have gone further. And then this one, when you click on the button, you'll be able to see maybe the population for maybe a region or a district, but you don't need to know the numbers of what goes in.
So it's more
there.
like a graphic representation of
That is, yes, for the digitized census atlas is a graphical representation of that.
Fantastic. So I've seen the schools up. We'll just like to run through the schools that are participating in this competition. I think I see Legon, I see UCC, I see KNUST. There are two other crests I'm not too familiar with.
And so UDS.
Okay, UDS.
And then UHAS.
And UHAS. Okay, so these 5 schools. So I just want you to tell us how the schools are going to practicalize this whole hackathon and what qualifies who to win the prize.
Okay, so thank you so much. And so we've had the first phase already. And so we went to these public institutions. One of the ideas that at the graduate level, we try to let people go out there, collect data, and come and analyze. But we also know that usually the program is, let's say, 12 months or 18 months at most. And then asking these students to go out there to collect their own primary data. So we made this available that to reshape the idea that you don't need to go out there to look for any other extra information to be able to do your analysis. But then from the Statsbank or from the repository that we have provided, you can do your analysis from there. So we opened up to the public universities. And so we threw it out to them there. And what we took them through was to the census questionnaire and again the data that we have. And then by their own ingenuity and what they think is critical thing that they should solve, they went ahead to do produce a product. Okay. And so we've had the first phase in the 5 universities already, where there was a competition among their own colleagues. Okay. And then the first 3, so from each of these 5 universities, the first 3 who won the prizes have now been brought to Accra. And so these 15 people are now going to compete at the national level.
So it means that this number has whittled down to 3.
And up to the 15.
Yes.
Yes.
And they're from just 3 universities?
No, 5 universities.
5 of the universities.
And so for each of the 5 universities, 3 winning teams from there.
Okay.
So the first, the runner-up and the second runner-up were brought to Accra.
All right, makes sense. All right. So we're looking for solutions, right? So you're asking these students to use the data that is available on your site already to identify a problem and solve it? Is that it?
Yes. And so from the census or from the various surveys that we do, we have the data out there.
Okay.
And the data is to help policymakers make decisions for us. Now we've gotten the students.
Okay.
We've exposed them to this data.
Right.
Now they, through their own initiative and whatever they want to do, they want to find ways in which they'll be able to help solve some of Ghana's problem. And so they identify a problem and try to solve it.
So they're creating policies.
So for this round, some people are creating policy documents. Some are also using dashboard visualization and data analysis. Some are using API to really generate something. And some people are also using artificial intelligence to help solve a problem. Okay. And so through their own ingenuity, they are using this kind of technology to be able to address issues that they think is facing the economy.
And how do you hope this would translate into the general governance of the country? So these are students who produce documents largely for academic purposes, but hopefully there's a bigger dream, right?
Yeah.
What is it?
And so for us, we are supposed to provide the data, and policymakers should use it for the betterment of the Ghanaian economy. And so people sometimes shy away from these numbers. Bringing these students on board, and we are not giving them the topics. They selected their own topics, trying to solve these problems. So they make data, user-friendly, more available to policymakers, and they serve as maybe a conduit between us and maybe the policymaker, because they may think that the statistics people, we are only used to numbers, and so we've given that raw numbers there. These people are transforming it so that you can be able to see maybe a small area and estimating whether sanitation or whatever, a problem that they are solving, or an API, or maybe artificial intelligence to tell you that maybe refuse here is full of that thing. So these are bringing things there, and I believe that for policymakers who want to solve our problems and to make Ghana a better place for us, this is something that they should grasp to be able to solve our needs.
This sounds very interesting. How do we follow this? For those of us who would like to, monitor the competition and see how the schools are performing and, be acquainted with some of these wonderful policies that are coming up. How do we follow the hackathon? And
so these students were brought down to Accra last Sunday. And so we are hosting them at the Wesley Towers. Okay. And so that's where they've set up, and these students are having their program and then the competition. So that's where they have their products they are working on. They have their mentors with them. They have they have questions that people will ask them. So somebody can come to Wesley Towers to see where they are. You can walk in there to see what they are doing. But again, on Thursday, that will be the final product that these students, the 15 teams, will be able to pitch against each other to be able to get the information to know who wins the crown as the national hackathon champion. And again, we can have the Twitter account, and we have other information.
So the Ghana Statistical Service, we can follow you and we can get updates on all of this.
Yes.
All right.
So, and then again, we work in collaboration with Joy, and so
yes,
we can get
seeing that right here on the Joy News channel. But finally, this is just 5 public universities for now. Do you hope to extend it? For the hackathon itself, just share the future plans for us. Okay. So yes. One benefit for even these competing students is we're reshaping graduate studies and research at the tertiary level, so that people know you don't need to go out there to collect your own data, but you can use data from the project work. I know that data collection is a big deal for them.
Again, from this product that these students are churning out, we believe that as policymakers or people who use or need people to solve problems, these people can land on maybe a good employment for them when they finish. But the other interesting thing is that after this public university, we are extending to the technical universities. And so in November, we have the Statistical Week. That is from the week of the 14th to the 18th. Exactly on the 18th is the African Statistics Day. And so we're going to the technical universities to be also give them the opportunity to see what they can explore the data and also come up with all with the interest of helping solve development policies for the country.
Thank you so much, Dr. Faustina Frimpong Angua is Deputy Government Statistician in charge of social and population statistics. And this morning she's been sharing this wonderful idea of the 2023 Statsbank Hackathon. But before you go, you want to thank your sponsors?
And so I want to say a big thank you to Stats Denmark. Traditionally, the people in the Global South usually just give figures or stats things that are maybe static in one way. And so through their collaboration, we'll be able to produce the Statsbank. So we thank them for that collaboration. Also want to thank the public universities opening their doors and accepting to be able to be part of this and to take this mantle on. And again, want to say thank you to Joy for giving us opportunity to share these ideas onto the nation.
Gladly excited to be part of this collaboration. So just stay with us here, and the grand finale will be coming up on Thursday.
Yes.
We will be letting you in on which school wins, and then we will also be sharing with you the fine details of the policies and the products that they have put together to solve the problems they identified through data put together by the Ghana Statistical Service. We're not done with education. When I come back, I'll be speaking to one of our sponsors for the broadcast of the National Science and Maths Quiz, New Crystal Hospital. Please stay for that. Thank you so much.